Hey everybody, in today's demo we're going to tackle the portrait. So this tutorial or demo is for my figure drawing students. This week we're going over the head. And the one thing that I really want to stress is structure. Structure, structure, structure. Structure is very important when drawing the figure. Because you want to get likeness, you want to get your drawing to have the illusion of 3D form. So it's very important to understand structure and have an idea for it. There's pretty much there's a lot of tools that are out there that can help you, and I don't know if you want to call them tools or just kind of methods, and I think it's more so methods. So I was trained to use the Riley method or the Loomis method, and because I was trained that way, I tend to use both and pull out things when I need them. So the Riley method deals with rhythm lines, the Loomis method deals with planar shifts. So normally when I'm drawing, that's kind of what I'm pulling out, rhythm lines and or planar shifts. So I don't want this demo to be a long drawn out movie. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my best to get started. So the demo may be long, but because I'm dealing with structure, and that takes time, and it slows you down a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Normally I start with number one. Let me make sure I'm in the frame. So I'm just gonna mark some notes on my board. There we go. You guys, my camera is in front of me, so it's like I just don't want to go out the frame. So I marked on my board so I do not go out of the frame at all. So normally when I start, I do start with that whole cranium thing, and then I come in and then I attach the jawline to the cranium. And that's what I normally kind of start with. But the photo that I actually have right now is not quite that. So I kind of want to start with just using an atelier idea by blocking out the shape. And I feel like that would get me a lot closer to what I'm seeing than starting with the sphere and attaching that jaw. Which, all honesty, this works as well. I don't want to knock that. That definitely works, and normally I start that way anyway. But looking at the image, I really just want to get comfortable with just getting the idea of the head structure and the neck and all of that stuff. So I'm going to start with kind of blocking out the shape. So also with blocking out the shape, it aids in being a little bit more boxy. And I am able to use straight lines. Once again, you can always curve out your straight lines. It's never something that can't be done. So if I get quiet from time to time, just let you know, I'm honestly just trying to pay attention to what I am drawing. So right now I'm just getting a feel and an idea. This is going to change. So I'm doing my best to keep my drawing light. So if you're struggling to see what I'm doing, it's just because I'm trying to stay light because I'm going to build up on it. I'm probably going to have a lot of construction lines, but I'm okay with that. So right now I'm just getting the idea for her hair. She has a little bun that's here. And that's probably going to get adjusted. I plugged in an idea for the ear. Now I kind of want to go in and just split the face into half with a center line. I'm looking at a 3/4 view. So I kind of want to get an idea for that. I also want to get an idea for where her brow ridge is. And I have to kind of measure this. not so much measure it, but I need kind of a plumb line just to see if it's angled, if it's straight, and it's kind of angled, and I have it very straight. I'm gonna angle it. I also want to get an idea for the turn of her eyebrow. This is going to allow me to have an idea for where her eyebrow is and where her actual hairline is. So this is definitely going to change. So you guys, I'm trying to measure. If my arm is in the way, it's just I'm measuring. Alright. So I kind of got an idea for that, but I'm starting to see, although this is where I initially see her eyebrow and the turn of that forehead, I kind of want to bring in and make her hairline just a bit closer and get the idea of what I'm seeing for her hairline as well, which eventually will give me an idea for the forehead shape. So now I got that in, and I know this is the direction of the eyebrows, or the brow ridge. I know that this is still in an idea way of where I want her hairline to be. I'm gonna erase out some lines. Normally I want my history, and that's most of all the time I want my history. Alright guys, so now that I have that in, I want to come in with the Keystone Shape. So here's the thing, I always talk to my students and I always stress the Keystone Shape. So the one thing I notice with students sometimes is they'll put it in and then they'll put it in very generically, and which that's fine. Sometimes you want to start it in a generic way where it's kind of a simple shape, but you want to make sure that Keystone Shape is the shape looks like the shape on the actual person's face, meaning it needs to be geared towards that person's Keystone Shape, because everybody has a Keystone Shape, and sometimes the Keystone Shape is wider, thinner, leaner, taller, because everybody anatomy is different, you know. So you want to make sure, you guys, I'm measuring if you see my hand going up and down, but you want to make sure that it looks clear. It's a shape that looks like the shape you're seeing on that actual person and is geared towards them, like it's their Keystone Shape. So you want to make sure you're thinking about that. You just don't want to place it there because you know, oh, that's a Keystone Shape and I see it and it's there. You want to make sure that it looks like the Keystone Shape on that person. If that makes sense. It shouldn't make sense. And I know I'm blabbing, but it's just one of those things that I'm always telling students. So I have problems with angles, and everybody know I have problems with angles. Probably all of my students know that. So I'm constantly measuring my angles because I'm always going. I'm thinking an angle is one way and it's not, and I'm just like, oh, all right, that's not right. So I have my Keystone Shape in. I have her left eye socket on, but it's my right eye socket. And when you have your Keystone Shape, very important landmark, the eyebrows, brow ridge, eyebrows, sockets, all of that pretty much starts from that very important landmark. So now that I have the Keystone Shape in, I can get in the eye sockets because you want to get that in first. Then I can also get the top of the nose. So we're thinking top, bottom, and side of every feature and thing. Yay, we can do this. Alright, so I got that in. What I want to do for right now on this left side, I'm just going to draw a slit for right now because I want to get an idea for where her eyeball is. So I'm just drawing a slit at this moment. I also want to get in the ball of the nose. So I'm just going to lightly gesture that in. It may or may not be in the right spot for right now. I'm also, so I got a little bit of the side of the nose that's here. I kind of want to come in and get the rest of my eye socket in. I want the eye socket to look like the person's eye socket that I'm seeing. So I want to get that in as well. And you guys, in this very early stage, things are going to change. Allow that drawing to change. I'm thinking about the space in between. That definitely helps not to make things too short or too long. You want to think about the space between the eyes, where the side of the nose starts and the top of the nose. So eyes, the space in between, or you can say the eye socket, the space that's between the laugh line area of a rhythm line. You can say that too. But I just want to think about that. All right, I also want to, I'm going to use a plumb line. I'm going to see how far her nose come out from her eyes. I think it's about right there for right now. And I am thinking about my 3 parts. So far I have 1 in. 1. And I want to do not do that. This is when I get lazy. Alright, so we got 1, 2 is about right here. This is 2. And I might bring, no, I'll just start with the Keystone Shape. So, Keystone Shape, I'm starting with the baseline. Get it together, jury, your vocab. Alright, I'm just going to get a little bit of that ball for that nose in. Just a tad bit. Not a whole lot. I also know that her nostril is kind of wrapping around as well. So I'm going to think a little bit of that muzzle and think about how that nose wraps around that muzzle. I say this is her eye. I'm going to get a little bit of the bottom of where that cheek starts. And a little bit of an idea where her cheek comes out at. I'm going to get my angles right. So, and I want to see get a plumb line for where her nose, the end of her nose is, and line it up with the eye. So I think it's about right here for right now. And I'm gonna double check that because I feel very far. I think it comes in just a little bit more. So now I kind of have an idea for this. And I know that this cheek comes out as well. So now that I got that, I know this and this is the same with this, and then normally it's about here, but I'm just going to draw the line. I'm going to leave this here just in case I need to push up or push down. I don't know. But you do see a little bit of under her chin, so I might leave it there. Alright, so now that I kind of got my 3rd line in, and it's here, now I want to get in the lips. So what I'm doing is I can start to change just a bit. I'm not gonna go too crazy. but I want to start to change my center line just a bit. So to start thinking about planar shifts, so that her forehead slopes down, comes down, keystone downward plane around the nose, and I know that this is going to come out. And I'm thinking about how far or how long is the philtrum. So I can get the top of the lip. Also want to think about where the crease of her mouth is, which I know that mouth wraps around the muzzle. So I also want to get an idea for those creases and an idea for the corner of the mouth. Normally the corners of our mouths shoot up to our ear. So you can always think about that. And then I also want to get an idea for the bottom of her mouth. I might have made her mouth a little too full. No, I think might be all good in the hood. Alright. I don't know, we will see. Or I want to bring this up just a bit more. Still in the early stages, so I can maneuver. So here, I'll bring this up just a bit. And I want to get that crease that's there. I also want to get a plumb line in. So guys, I may have to break a clip and I'll be back. Alright guys, so I want to get a plumb line and see how far I'm comparing her lip, the corner of her lip to her nose. And it's about right here with that plumb line that I already have. I'm just gonna get that crease there for right now. Just have that crease in. At the bottom of the lip, I want to think about where her chin is at and get the ball of her chin. But I also want to think about the spacing of, I see where her mouth starts, side of her chin is a little sliver of that. The chin kind of comes down here, and it also kind of comes around that ball. And I can always fix that later. Right now I'm just kind of getting some ideas in. So now that I got that in, I want to come back and start to adjust some things. So I know her eyebrow is here. And just cutting into this just a bit. I want to kind of get the slope of her forehead. I know her hairline kind of comes in just a bit. That slope. And I've already said that I do see her hairline come, like I see this space that's here, the angle. So now that I have that in, now I want to kind of get an idea for the other eye. So normally what happens on one side, you want it to happen on the other. I want to make sure that this line is the same direction. So I know that there's that key part of the keystone shape is, I do see this little triangle shape that's here. Make sure where it's going. That's there. I'm just trying to get some of the spacing and cutting into the eye socket. And I want to get an idea for the width of her eye. Also cutting into some shapes just to make sure I'm getting the proper width. Right now I'm just going to say it's about right here. So now that I got that in, I know I have a little bit of the side. I can pull out a rhythm line. Once again, although we know rhythm lines are there, I try to make sure the line fits the person I'm drawing. I think that's very important, that I'm just not coming in with like a generic swoop. You can start like that generic swoop, but I always try to make sure, okay, what is it actually doing? Like, is it bending in? Is it long? Is it thin? Where's the spacing? I know I'd see it a lot closer. Let me see. If I look down and draw, this is where her lips are. I want to think about this, the space in between here. So I could say it comes out more here, like that way. And then I do see it kind of taper in just a bit. So I want it to look more like what I'm seeing on her. It's beautiful cast shadow. That's a beautiful shadow edge. Oh my god. That's here. Get the terms right. It is a shadow edge, not a cast shadow. And guys, when you hear me say shadow edge, you might be used to the Terminator or the bedbug line. I'm very much used to saying shadow edge. It's because of my training from UG that I love. Alright, so now that I kind of have that in, I want to kind of see, I'm just going to do it in a more generic way, just getting this shape in, and some of this roundness that's here for right now. Keep it light, keep it light. It might change. Alright, so now that I have that in, and I'm going to curve this just a little bit more. Continue to adjust. Your drawing is always changing. Allow it to change. That's what it's for. Alright. You guys, if I start singing, I'm just trying to keep myself entertained. That's what I do when I'm drawing. So I'm just trying to get an idea of the chin here. And just kind of see this negative shape that's here. Going to get a more idea for the swoop of that neck. I know there's muscles that are happening that are changing the idea, but she actually has a beautiful long neck, and I feel like I want to elongate it. But I'm gonna do my best not to. It's a muscle that's here that's kind of giving a weird shape. All right, so now that I have that in, as you can see, I move around a lot. I try not to stick to one thing. I try to bring up my drawing all at the same time, if that kind of makes sense, because that's what you really are supposed to do. All right, so I see this beautiful shape that's here that I kind of want to get in from the hairline, because I do see, and that's really just the cheekbones that's there, but her hairline kind of curves around it. So I just want to get in a curve before I get her sideburns in, because this is going to help me get the ear in place. I also want to think of where her ear and her lip line up at. Although I placed the ear in a completely different place, which I knew it was going to change. I knew it wasn't in the right area. I just wanted to get something down. So right now, trying to get that initial shape close to what I see on her. Trying to get her ear, the shape of her ear, not just a made-up ear, hers. And I tend to think of that C shape that's there. So now I have that in. Trying to make sure I'm still in the frame. I don't want to start growing. Alright, so now that I have that in, I can now get a better idea for how far her hair and her ear come out, or the back of the head. And I can start getting the actual shape in that I'm seeing, and not having a guesstimation for it. Because normally when you're starting any drawing, it's a guessing game. And I always tell students, and hopefully they listen, that drawing is a series. It's a series of corrections. You're constantly correcting yourself. 9 times out of 10, the first line you put down, trust, it is not right. And you have to tell yourself that. Like, okay, the first line I put down is not going to be right. So, I have to allow my drawing to change so I can correct it. Because, basically that's what's happening. You're constantly correcting, and allow that correction to happen. Do not get caught up in my first line is the right line. No, it's not. Just being honest with myself, because sometimes I'll do it too. No, this is right. And I'm like, no, that was wrong. So wrong. And that's what you kind of just keep in mind. It's a series of corrections. And you want those corrections to happen. That's the only way you're going to get better at drawing. Another thing that I think most students tend to do is, I know that when you're drawing, sometimes you put something down and you're just like, oh, I just spent all that time on that and I don't want to erase it because it's wrong. I'm just going to continue to draw over that line. And hopefully with all the lines that I'm going over are the same line that I'm going over and over again, it'll start to look right. And you don't want to do that either. You don't want that to happen. So allow your drawing to change. Know that you're going to make mistakes. Allow those mistakes to happen. If you think about it, how do we learn as humans? Sometimes the quickest way to learn something is to do it wrong. Because once somebody tell you, okay, that's wrong, you know what not to do again. It's the same thing with drawing. The quickest way to get something right is to do it wrong. And allow those lines to be there, those wrong lines to be there, and allow yourself to understand that. Alright, guys. And doodled enough. Kind of want to bring this up just a bit more and I'll erase that out. Alright, so now I got somewhat of a construction happening. And once again, construction takes time. I'm going to take my time and starting to see something that I didn't quite see earlier. And I'm going to start getting in some of these eyes. Like, guys, like, girl, she got a slit happening. When are you gonna draw on these eyeballs? Alright, so I'm just getting a light ball in. Just lightly in those slits. I'm gonna start on this side. So I know that this is her keystone shape that's here. And I kind of got her eyebrow in just a slight bit earlier than I normally should. I know that this is kind of coming down. And now, you guys, I'm just starting to adjust some of these lines just so I can get it to start looking like her. So now I know that this top lid is going to wrap around that eyeball. So I want it to look like her eyes, and I want to get that structure in and that wrap around that ball. And I also want to get the ball in. Then I know that this part is overlapped. I'm going to bring the top lid up just a bit. So bring that in. Bring this up and over. And just adjust this part. I know that she kind of got a curve to her nose. I can come in and get her baseline in. I can find the wing wing of the nostril that's on this side that is actually overlapped of that ball. So just trying to make sure that they're doing the same thing. What's happening on this side of the nostril is happening on that side of the nostril. I can get the wing in a little structure here. Smaller construction planes that are happening. Also, this photo is lit, so I could see some actual cast shadows and other shadow edge. So I'm just getting in those shapes. Alright, I'm gonna cut a clip and I'll be back. Alright guys, so I'm started. I got my eyeball in. Now I want to think about the shape so I can get in my iris. And I can keep it fairly light for right now. And I can adjust it later. That's kind of what I'm looking for. So we know that our planar shift is coming out. This is down. This is coming out, around, out just a bit, and down. Alright, so, and also under this little sliver that's here. Alright, so let's get the next eye. And, she has a beautiful eye shape that just really hope I nail. So beautiful. Alright, so I can transfer over the lid. Make sure things are kind of at least symmetrical. I want to get the shape of her eye close to what I'm seeing. Now that ball was there. She kind of got a little bit of fat over her lid, just a little bit. I kind of want to get that in, that shape in. And get an idea for the ball and also the tear duct. The lid is wrapping around the ball. And this corner of the eye overlaps. Top of the eye, top of the lid overlaps over the bottom. Getting just a little bit of that sliver that we would see. Remember, that's a thin plane arch shift. So the top of the eyelid, the front of the eyelid, then we come down. The eyeball, we see a little bit, just a little bit under the lid, not a whole lot. That's there. I want to also get in like where the tear duct is, or the red of the eye, and the shape of the iris. The white of the eye, that shape. Just trying to make sure I'm in the right spot. So the center line is going to come out. It's going to go over. Your lid. I already had a few lines there, so I can come in and darken some things. Now that I have that, I can get in a little bit more in that tear duct. I'm going to get in a little bit more of that bottom lid in. I may not be seeing it that low. And I want to come back up. Breaking into and get an idea of where her eyebrows are sitting in the socket. I'm going to get this shape that I see around the fat of her eye, which I think I have it too big. I think I have the shape right, but I think it's too big. So I'm breaking up this into more shapes. That'll give me a better idea for what our eyebrow actually is doing. Excuse me, guys. I know you guys are probably like, gosh, Jerry, you're so gross. It just happened. It came out. Don't know how to stop it sometimes. Alright. Alright, getting that eyebrow in. Get these shapes in. Alright, I think I'm pretty doggone close. And I will take that. Guys, I can get pretty anal with trying to get things accurate. So I kind of got an idea for her eyebrow. Still feel like I need to change some things, but I'm pretty close. Alright. So I still feel like her forehead is more at an angle or more sloped than what I have. It is. So I am about to change it. So I want it to look more like her and not like her cousin down the street. Getting some slight planar shifts and the face. That I'm seeing. That I want it to look more like her planar shifts. So there you go. Alright, now I'm down to here, and alright, so we got that. Just kind of make sure the shape is right. Lighten that up just a bit. I'm gonna bring that cash out just a little bit more. So you guys, I'm drawing in the cash shadow because it's just shapes that's helping me navigate through the face. So we have a nose in. Let me get that filtrum in. So the filtrum, if you can, it always comes out where the nose is, and it shoots out into the mouth, and then you're able to get kind of that heart shape of the mouth, the splitting of the mouth, or that top lip. I still want to make sure that I'm staying true to some of my angles. So I know she has very full lips. Honestly, guys, I like drawing full lips because it gives me something. Trust, I've drawn plenty of lips, and some I'm like, do you even have lips? What's going on? It could just be an African American thing. Because I'm just used to seeing fuller lips. So when I'm drawing thin lips is kind of it's hard for me because I'm used to drawing fuller lips. Just trying to get these angles right. I'm at a distance from the photo, so just want to make sure I'm seeing things the way that I should be seeing them. I know I see like a sliver of this nostril because it's overlapped by the ball. See a little bit of that cheek that's there. I know her lips kind of come in and you see a tad bit of the cheek and the bottom lip. Drawn in the heart shape of her mouth. There's a little slit because her mouth is actually slightly splitting. Like it's a crease there, but then it's not. Need to come back to my center line, downward plane, outward plane. That's there. I want to get a line in for the top plane of the mouth. I'm going to lighten that line just a bit because I feel like I made it too dominant. Because normally there is a slight highlight right here. Since I'm working linear, I just don't want it to be too dominant. I also know I want to get that in for the bottom of where the chin, the ball of the chin come out. Alright, so I have her bottom plane in. I'm going to draw in a slight cast shadow that's here. Her ball, I'm trying to get it right because what I'm seeing, it don't really pop out how I'm seeing it. Like it's curved, but it's almost like a straight. I think it curves a little bit more than this. Alright guys, I'm break a clip and be back. Alright guys, so still working on his chin, trying to get it to look more like her chin. I also want to get the canopy of her neck and her jaw lining. Trying to get the curve of her jawline. This muscle, although I'm seeing it, it's drawn very weird. It's just kind of weird in here, and I ain't feeling it. I ain't feeling it at all. See, it's giving me just a little bit of problems. And I'm down for the challenge. Alright, so now that we got that in, so I can kind of get in a little bit of this cast shadow, and guys, I'm just using it as a shape. I'm just going to simplify what I'm seeing down. Possibly just squint at it for right now. Erasing out a little bit of my construction, and I'm not even erasing it out, I'm just leaving it as it goes. Alright, so now that I have that in, I got some eyes, got a nose, got a side of the face that's happening, got the front, got the top. What? I'm killing it. Killing it tonight. Yeah. Alright. And some of this in. Alright, let me stop working on that and let's get this ear together so this demo don't become a movie, Jerry. So with the ear, as long as you kind of have this C shape in, You do want to think about just the lobe and getting the top bottom side of that. I like to just break into the shape and cut into it. And there's a cast shadow that's there. Top of the ear here. I'm bringing this in just a little bit. Honestly, I can bring it in a little bit more if I want to. Really get that shape in. This little shadow edge and cast shadow of that portion of the ear. Alright guys, so we got the ear in, yay, the ear. Trying to get it more to the neckers. But guys, I'm not gonna, I think she got earrings and things on. I'm not gonna focus on that. Alright. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but it's almost like a lump. It's kind of weird. But I don't mind it. Everybody's anatomy is different. That is what I'm saying. I might be curving it just a little bit more than what I should. And I think I'm not going to exaggerate it. I'm going to bring it out of straight. Alright, guys. This demo is almost done. And I can't wait. Alright, so I'm just gonna darken up some lines, but I'm not gonna go too crazy with it. Get a better idea of what's happening here. I'm not gonna go into depth in her hair. I'm just gonna leave it as a shape. Alright guys, so at this moment, get that Keystone Shape back in. The top of her nose in. Darken up the ball just a little bit. So, this is my method of drawing the face. So, everybody kind of have a method. There's a lot of tutorials out there. This is just my method of drawing the face. I try my best to be as structured as possible. I try my best to think about all the things that are happening structure-wise, because that's very important. I think the older I'm starting to get, the more fascinated I am about getting the structure down versus when I was younger, it was more about getting the likeness. Like when I was in school, I was very good at getting a likeness. And now that I'm getting older, with drawing the figure, I realize that now I'm more about what is the structure of the figure. Like I'm more in tuned, I'm more about wanting to know about that. And I feel like that's more important than anything. Do I still feel like getting the likeness is more important? Yes, that's very important. But I just realized I'm starting to get to a point where I'm just more interested in the structure. Like, what can I do with just lines and getting that structure in? Because it's definitely there. It is there. Okay, I'm stopping noodling my drawing to death. But you get the idea of drawing. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Drawing a figure, thinking about planar shifts, thinking about rhythm lines, thinking about all of those things, and make sure you get sockets and things in, and how important that is, because all of that is very important to what you're doing. And once you have this kind of structure in, which I love, although I don't do it as much as I should. Like, I'll draw the structure in, but if you think about it, while I have the structure in, when it comes to if a light is being shined, I know where that light is hitting on those planar shifts. And you realize how important that structure becomes. And it's one of those things that I've always been intrigued by it. You know, once I was introduced to drawing with structure, I've been just very much intrigued by it. And just wanting to learn more about things. I just think it's very important. Alright, guys, I'm gonna stop noodling my drawing to death. I always tell my students, like, alright, stop it. There's a point where your drawing looks amazing, and then when you start to fiddle with it, then it starts looking very weird. But hopefully you guys this help. Like I said, there's a ton of tutorials out there and demos out there about how to draw the face. This is my my process and my way of drawing the face, and I really hope it helps someone just to get better at drawing the figure and just seeing the process. So enjoy the night. Trying to get my camera to focus. And I will see you guys in the next clip or video. Bye, you guys.